guys, welcome to another crochet tutorial with me, Laura, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to make this little puff flower. So this was the puff flower that I featured in my latest yarn giveaway video that I did. So for this pattern you can use any yarn that you like, literally any yarn, but I happen to be using a DK light worsted weight yarn, so that's a yarn weight of 3. And with that I'm using a 4mm G crochet hook, not a 3.5, a 4, but you can use any hook size that's suitable for the yarn that you're using. It's also a good idea to have a pair of scissors and a yarn needle as well if you want to sew in those ends. So which colour shall I pick now? So I won't do a white because white's terrible on camera, so let's do a purple flower. Okay, so we're going to take our yarn and the first thing we're going to do is a slip knot. And so let's do a slip knot. And we're going to chain 4 to do a chain 4 loop. So chain 1, 2, 3 and 4. Going to find our first chain and put our hook into there. Going to grab the yarn, bring it through the first chain and straight through the loop on your hook to do a slip stitch. Now we've got a little chain 4 loop joined at the beginning and the end. In the middle is a hole. Don't confuse it with your first chain hole, which can look quite big. We need to find that center hole. First thing we're going to do though is we're going to do a little chain 1 just for leverage. Don't bother counting that as a stitch. Then we're going to put our hook into the center of our loop, grab the yarn and bring it through, then just wrapping it around the chains. We're going to do a single crochet. So this pattern's in US terminology, but in UK terminology that is a double crochet. And we're going to have 6 of these. We want 6, so that's the first one. I'm going to go back into the middle, bring the yarn through, do another one, 2 and another, 3. And how many stitches you do at the beginning will determine how many petals you have. So my flower's got 6 petals, 4 and 2 more, 5, another one, 6. And you can use the magic loop as well. You can always interchange between the 4 chain loop and the magic loop. Just work 6 single crochet into a magic loop if you want to, but we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochet in our 4 chain loop, and I should be able to just bring in that hole even though it's not a magic circle. Then we're going to find our first single crochet that we did. We're going to put our hook into there. Bring the yarn through there, straight for the loop on your hook to do a slip stitch to join the round. Okay, so it should look like that. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to work our petals. So we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2. We're going to work some double crochets, or in UK terminology, a treble crochet. So we're going to yarn over, going to put our hook into the same first chain we just slip stitched into. And we're going to bring the yarn through and then we're going to bring up a loop. Now this is the important bit, so you want to bring that up because this, how high you bring this up will determine the rest of your petal and make it easier. So keep it nice and loose, up by about just under an inch. And we're going to do that 5 more times. We're going to yarn over, go back into the same chain and bring that loop up to match the height. So that's 2. Do that again, yarn over into the stitch, bring up the loop, 3, yarn over into the stitch, 4, twice more, yarn over, 5, and one more time, 6. Okay, so you've got all these loops on your hook. Then what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over and we're going to pull the yarn through all those loops, and the key to doing that is to twist your hook down and give it a little wiggle as it comes through. Okay, and then quickly turn your hook back up as you come through. That should keep all your loops there. Do a little chain 1 to secure, and then we're going to chain 2 after that, 1 and 2. Then we're going to find the next stitch on our main part and we're going to slip stitch into there, and we need to just pop out our loop, so make sure it's all puffed out in the right direction. That's it. We're just going to repeat that 5 more times. So chain 2, 1 and 2, yarn over and go into the stitch, bring the yarn through and bring up a loop. So this is the important bit to get this right here, because it will determine the height for the rest of your stitches. Do that 5 more times. So yarn over into the stitch, bring up the loop, 2, 3, 4, 5, and another one, 6. Because if you don't get that loop right at first, you'll see it slowly get smaller and smaller. So it's good to get the right height. Okay, then yarn over and pull through all those loops and chain 1 to secure, and then chain 2, 1 and 2. And we're going to slip stitch in our next stitch, which can look like it's hidden under the puff stitch, so do move it out the way. Slip stitch into there and puff out your petal. Okay, do that 4 more times. So chain 2, yarn over into the stitch, and make sure you bring up that nice big loop. So let go of that tension, bring it up. And 5 more times. So yarn over, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yarn over, pull through all loops, chain 1 to secure, then chain 2, 1 and 2. And that's it. Slip stitch into the next stitch, my tail end that way, slip stitch into there and repeat. So I'm going to repeat that 3 more times for the rest of the petals. So chain 2, yarn over, bring up a loop, do it 5 more times. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, tail end that way, 5 and 6. Do it 6 times in total. Yarn over, pull through all the loops, chain 1, then chain 2, and slip stitch into the next stitch. And just repeat that all the way around. So chain 2, two, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Chain 1 and chain 2. Slip stitch into the last stitch and repeat. Chain 2. Pop out that loop. Yarn over into the stitch 6 times, bringing up that loop. Get that first one right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Yarn over, bring it all through the loops, chain 1 to secure, then chain 2. And it looks like there's one more stitch left, but that's the fake stitch, as I call it, from our slip stitch in the previous round. It should have 6 petals, but we're going to slip stitch into that fake stitch to finish. And that is it. We're just going to make sure all our petals are popped out. Then we're going to cut a yarn. And you may want to tie in your tail ends, it's up to you. I'm just going to pull that loop through. I'm just going to pull that centre in a little bit more, and then I'm just going to tie these together for ease. You might want to tie in these tails, not pull too tight. Let's do a double knot. I'm just going to knot these for the sake of this video. Trim down the excess, because you might choose to sew these all together. We use them on a bag, and there we go. There is our finished puff flower to add to all our other flowers. So there we go. And because it's got 6 petals, it joins together in a nice hexagon beehive type shape. So, and if you want to sew these together, just make sure not to sew any of the loop and just sew the chains together. But there we go. That's how to do a little puff flower. And I hope you managed to follow along. Hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you soon for some more crochet fun. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. So I try to sew these together. Let's get a bit of yarn, shall we? Let's get a little bit of blue yarn and a yarn needle. Let's see if I can find a yarn needle. There we go. And I'm going to try and sew these together.